Does Texas Tech deserve to be ranked? Who is the new favorite in the Big 12? And can the Giants go 0-16? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle.
The Red Raiders have cracked the top 25, coming in at number 24 this week. Billy, do you think this team is worthy of the ranking?
I do, Kyle. I really do. And the thing that makes me say this is that the way that this defense has played, and I think that's really shocked a lot of people. I know it's shocked you and me. We've talked about it, especially during preseason. But the offense is still finding its way, still trying to figure out what niche they can to put up those big numbers that we're used to seeing. But that defense, let me tell you, coming in with fifth in the country with turnover margins right now, they're just doing phenomenal. They're stopping the run, they're making big plays, and they're putting the Red Raiders in a position to win the game, and really all facets of it.
Well, I think the ranking speaks to the defense alone, because I don't know if the offense is worthy of it. The defense alone, it seems like there's some lows that the offense gets midway through the game. The defense has been the one to bring him back out of that lull. Unfortunately, against Oklahoma State, it just wasn't enough in that one. But I don't think they're worthy of ranking yet. I would have them just outside the top 20. If they win this weekend at West Virginia, that's a legit team. You're 5-1. I understand the ranking there. You beat Kansas, it's Kansas. I mean, I know that West Virginia gave up 34 points to them and about 400 rushing yards, and you did really good. The defense played extremely good. I just don't think this team's ready to be ranked yet, and I'm worried that being ranked going into West Virginia maybe gets in their head a little bit.
Yeah, and see, I can understand that, but see, this is why I'm okay with the high ranking. This is 24. They're just cracking the top 25. This isn't, in the top 20. There's still a lot of teams up there ahead of them,
I mean, it could be good for them, too. I mean, it could be, hey, we're getting the national respect. Hey, we really are this good. So I guess it could go both ways, but, when Texas Tech seems to get ranked, something always seems to go wrong for them.
Yeah, it's easy for them to get content with where they're at and, to kind of, get off that horse and to stop playing as hard as they are whenever they're hungry looking to get that spot in the top 25. But the thing that really just stands out to me is that, yeah, you're right, there hasn't been a lot of big wins, but that win on the road in Houston, that was a big win.
That was a big win.
And that was against another
unranked team.
It was another team, though, hovering around the top 25. It's not like the week that we beat Houston, they received more top 25 votes than we did. And then going in playing Oklahoma State.
But that's a game. That's a game you were supposed to win, though. I mean, you're playing a non-Power 5 team. I mean, I know we probably weren't favored in that game, but it's a game where you're a Power 5 team. You should go in there and win that.
Yeah, but they still had one of the best defensive players in the country on that team. And, that Oklahoma State game, they lost in a dogfight. Yeah. It wasn't like we rolled over and let them have it. We were in it till the end.
This team is good. I'm just not sure if they need this game to prove to me that they're worthy of this ranking.
Yeah, I agree. This win against West Virginia, so we get it, would be a lot more solidifying in that ranking.
Yeah.
Oklahoma fell at home over the weekend to Iowa State, shaking up the Big 12 standings. Kyle, with TCU and Texas as the lone unbeaten teams, who is the favorite in the Big 12?
I'd probably say TCU.
Yeah.
I mean, they just look the best right now. Oklahoma looked so good against Ohio State, and they struggled against Baylor. And then we saw what Iowa State did. Iowa State is a better team than people think.
Very, very well.
But to struggle like that and give up those touchdowns, I mean, great catch by Allen Lazard to win that game, but I just think TCU, their defense, I just don't trust Kenny Hill for them to be my favorite.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, you're kind of like, what are you guys?
Exactly.
I mean, are you the dominant teams?
And early on in the season, it looked like it was clearly Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. But then you have
really Oklahoma after the Ohio State game.
Exactly, and then you have this terrible loss there for OU at home against Iowa State, and you're just wondering, were they didn't come in mentally prepared?
I mean, the Red River Robbery is this week, but I don't know.
I mean, Texas has gotten better.
Yeah.
So
against a third-string quarterback, too.
And maybe that shifting around is what they needed to bring that fire back to that offense.
And I know that we've seen teams lose a game at home to maybe an unranked opponent and still made Clemson last year losing to Pittsburgh at home. I just don't know. I mean, Oklahoma's defense has looked really bad the last couple weeks against Baylor and Iowa State.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield and the offense is still putting up points, but the defense has struggled since that Ohio State domination.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing for this OU team is kind of where is that defense and where do they stand? Because at the beginning of the year, against Ohio State, you were thinking, wow, this is one of the most dominant defenses in the country. And as the season's played out, they've just looked weaker and weaker as it's gone on. So you got to wonder.
Texas defense is looking really good. They're 2-0. That's kind of surprising. I mean, The win against Iowa State, you could see, but beating Kansas State this weekend was kind of impressive. In my opinion.
It was a tough one for them. And, now they find themselves at the top of the Big 12 leaderboard right now with TCU. And, as we said, with TCU, I got to agree with you. I don't know that I can trust Kenny Hill yet. He's an athletic quarterback who has the ability to make all the types of the throws, but, the timing routes are what I'm concerned about. Whenever he's outside of the pocket, making moves, looking for the big play, he's phenomenal. But whenever it's the timing throws inside the pocket, he has the ability to misread plays and to throw to the wrong guy.
Tries to do too much at times.
Exactly, and so that makes me wonder to how far he can take them into the Big 12. But right now, as the front runners, I'm still going to go Oklahoma. I think that loss was pretty bad for them, so I think they'll get that together and they'll top off the Big 12.
I think overall Oklahoma is the best team. TCU kind of has the the front runner right now because they've already beat Oklahoma State. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way.
We'll see.
The Giants are off to a rough start this season, sitting at 0-5, and they lost 3 top receivers on Sunday. Billy, could the Giants go 0-16?
0-16, that is a difficult thing to do, especially in the NFL.
Unless you're the Cleveland Browns.
Or the Detroit Lions.
Or the Detroit Lions.
But looking at their schedule right now, they're starting off, they haven't won a game yet. In their next 5, they've got Denver, Seattle, the Rams, San Francisco, and Kansas City. The only one of those 5 games that is looking like one that's going to be good for them is San Francisco, who's also not been playing that terrible, even though they haven't gotten a win.
Their defense is pretty good in San Francisco. I don't know. If Odell's out for the year for sure. Sterling Shepard's day to day. You lost Dwayne. You really lost 4 receivers.
Yeah, because Dwayne Harris was going to see. He was going to see a lot more playing time until he went in. As soon as they called his number, he gets hurt on the kickoff.
And then Brandon Marshall, still not really sure on the extent of his injury. You only had one healthy receiver at the end of that game, Roger Lewis, who I don't know if either one of us have heard of.
No.
So now you got to go and find some other guys. You were already struggling. Your defense was supposed to lead the way. They did pretty good early on, the defense, but they've kind of fallen off a little bit. But now your offense is just bad, and it was already bad with those guys healthy, and now it's just gotten worse.
And it really poses the question, how long does Eli Manning have on that hot seat that is the quarterback position in New York? Because
Ben McAdoo's in a tough spot now too.
I gotta if I'm in the New York front office, I'm starting to explore other options to look for the future of this franchise.
They go 0-16.
No, I think they get one. They've got the talent there. They'll put it together at least one week, and they'll get a win.
I say 0-16. The only game they could win is the 49ers, and I'm not sure they can win that game.
Yeah, I would love it as a Dallas Cowboys fan. It wouldn't make me anything happier. So now it's time for Who You Got. Let's start off with Texas Tech versus West Virginia. Kyle, who you got?
I'm going to go with Texas Tech solely because of the Red Raider defense. They have just proven to me week after week that they are legit. Dakota Allen, Jordan Brooks in that linebacker position.
Phenomenal.
They've been extremely good. And forcing turnovers, it seems to be a new guy every week in the secondary. So I'm going to go with the Red Raiders. They get a big-time road win under Cliff Kingsbury, and they solidify that number 24 ranking. Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and go with Texas Tech as well. West Virginia had that real bad loss this weekend to TCU. It was competitive. It was something that they could have won, but they didn't. And they didn't, they weren't able to reach there. So I feel like going home, the morale is kind of down. They just lost their ranking spot. Texas Tech is coming in hot right now, and they're hungry. And I think, just like you said, led by that defense, they're going to be able to do enough for them to get the win.
Oklahoma takes on Texas. Billy, who you got?
I got Oklahoma. Texas has been playing a lot better as of late. We've seen that. They got better. They changed quarterbacks, and then they mixed some things up. The defense is looking really good. But OU is just, their offenses right now, it's really remarkable what they've been able to do. Baker Mayfield has just been phenomenal throughout this season. Defense has some questions, but I think they'll be able to get that figured up, especially after this loss against Iowa State.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma comes out with a vengeance after that loss. They're going to dominate Texas in that game. Texas defense is legit, but Oklahoma's offense is better.
Yeah, I agree. Eagles at Panthers. Kyle, who you got?
Carson Wentz, man. that guy is really good this year. Had a great game yesterday. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think they're the team to beat in the NFC East. They're the best team in that division. And while Carolina's been good of late, I think Carson Wentz and company is better.
Yeah, and it pains me to say, being the Cowboy fan that I am, that Philadelphia, they do have the lead on this NFC East division, and they are the best team right now. They've proven it, through these first couple of weeks in the NFL. But also, I got to go back on the other side, is Carolina. It seems like they're starting to get their groove back on offense. Cam Newton starting to get back to that NFL MVP caliber level that we've once seen him at. And so for that reason, I think that, and also they're being at home, I think this will be a game that Carolina's going to take. I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Packers at Vikings. Billy, who you got?
It was tough for me, especially after the Pack took us down this weekend, but I got to go with the Pack again. Just watching the magician, man, Aaron Rodgers, work his way in and out of that pocket, making plays downfield. The running game was starting to pick up a little bit with Aaron Jones, the rookie that they signed. I believe it was Toledo.
Finished over 100 yards in that game.
Yeah, so he's done well in the last 2 weeks. It really helped out that running game. Defense is still not the best, but I think it's a very serviceable defense, and tacked on with that high-powered offense with Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to go with the Pack.
Vikings losing Dalvin Cook 2 weeks ago made the biggest difference in their season. Packers go in there and they win that game. I don't know. It'll be close. Vikings defense will keep it close, but Aaron Rodgers will get a late touchdown. Packers will get the win.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big-name stories in sports. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle. Until next time.